Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. So guys, this is part 5 of our GCP ACE series, and this is most probably the last video of this series, and with this we have covered all the important questions that you can get in your GCP ACE certification exams. So let's cover all the questions in this video. So the first question is, you are migrating a production critical on-premise application that requires 96 vCPUs to perform its task. You want to make sure that application runs in a similar environment on GCP. What should you do? The correct answer in this case is option A. When creating the virtual machine, use machine type N1 standard 96. Okay, because in the question only you can see they have mentioned that the requirement is that it should have 96 vCPUs. Moving on to the next question, you want to configure a solution for archiving data in cloud storage bucket. This solution must be cost effective. Data with multiple versions should be archived after 30 days. Previous versions are accessed once a month for reporting. This archived data is also occasionally updated at month end. What should you do? The correct answer in this case is option B. Add bucket lifecycle rule that archives data with newer versions of 30 days to nearline storage. Moving on to the next question, your company's infrastructure is on premises, but all machines are running at maximum capacity. You want to burst to Google Cloud. The workloads on Google Cloud must be able to directly communicate to workloads on premises using private IP range. What should you do? Answer for this question is option D. That is, set up the cloud VPN between the infrastructure on premise and Google Cloud. Moving on to the next question, you want to select and configure a solution for storing and archiving data on Google Cloud platform. You need to support compliance objective for data from one geographic location. This data is archived after 30 days and needs to be accessed annually. What should you do? The correct answer is option D. Select the regional storage and add a bucket lifecycle rule that archives data after 30 days to cold line storage. Moving on to the next one, your company uses BigQuery for data warehousing. Over time, many different business units in your company have created 1,000 plus data sets across hundreds of projects. Your CIO wants you to examine all the data sets to find tables that contains an employee SSN column. You want to minimize efforts in performing this task. What should you do? Answer is option A. Go to data catalog and search for employee SSN in the search box. Moving on, you create a deployment with 2 replicas in Google Kubernetes engine cluster that has a single preemptible node pool. After a few minutes, you use Kubectl to examine the status of your pod and observe that one of them is still in the pending status. What is most likely cause for it? The answer is B. That is, too many pods are already running in the cluster and there are not enough resources left to schedule the pending pod. Moving on to the next question, you want to find out when users were added to Cloud Spanner Identity Access Management roles on your Google Cloud Platform project. What should you do in the GCP console? Answer is option D. Go to the Stackdriver logging console, review admin activities logs and filter them for Cloud Spanner IAM roles. Moving on, your company implemented BigQuery as an enterprise data warehouse. Users from multiple business units run queries on this data warehouse. However, you notice that query costs for BigQuery are very high and you need to control cost. Which 2 methods you should use? The 2 methods that you can use in this case is option B. First is option B, that is apply a user or project level custom query or quota for BigQuery data warehouse, and the other is option E, change your BigQuery query model from on demand to flat rate, apply appropriate number of slots to each project. So the answer in this case is option B. Moving on to the next question, you are building a product on top of GKE. You have single GKE cluster. For each of your customers, a pod is running in that cluster and your customers can run arbitrary code inside their pod. You want to maximize this the isolation between your customers' pod. What should you do? Answer for this is option C. Create a GKE node pool with sandbox type configured to gvisor. Add the parameter runtime class name gvisor to the specification of your customer's pod. Next question is, your finance team wants to view the billing report for your projects. You want to make sure that the finance team does not get additional permissions to the project. What should you do? Answer is option C. Add the group for finance team to roles billing viewer role. Okay, so viewer role will only give the permission to view and not to do anything else. Moving on to the next question, your organization has a strict requirement to control access to Google Cloud projects. You need to enable site reliability engineers to approve requests from the Google Cloud support team. When an SRE opens a support case, you want to follow Google's recommended practices. What should you do? Answer is option D, that is add your SREs to a group and then add this group to the roles or access approval role. Next question is, you need to host an application on a compute engine instance in a project shared with other teams. You want to prevent the other teams from accidentally causing downtime on that application. What feature should you use? Answer is option D, enable deletion protection on the instance. Next question is, your organization needs to grant users access to query datasets in BigQuery but prevent them from accidentally deleting the datasets. You want a solution that follows Google recommended practices. What should you do? Answer is option D, create a custom role by removing the delete permissions, add users to the group, and then add the group to the custom roles. So once you remove the delete permissions, then there will not be any chance of deleting the datasets. So answer is option D. Moving on to the next question, you have a developer laptop with Cloud SDK installed on Ubuntu. The Cloud SDK was installed from the Google Cloud Ubuntu package repository. You want to test your application locally on your laptop with Cloud Data Store. What should you do in this case? Answer is option D, that is install the Cloud Data Store emulator component using the gcloud components install command. Next question is, your company set up a complex organizational structure on Google Cloud. The structure includes hundreds of folders and projects. Only a few team members should be able to view the hierarchical structure. You need to assign minimum permissions to these team members, and you want to follow Google's recommended practices. What should you do? Answer is option C, that is add the users to a group and add this group to the roles or browser. Next question is, your company has a SSO identity provider that supports security assertion markup language integration with service providers. Your company has users in cloud identity and you would like to users to authenticate your company's SSO provider. What should you do? Answer is option B, that is in the cloud identity set up SSO with a third party identity provider with Google as a service provider. Next question is, your organization has dedicated person who creates and manages all services accounts for Google Cloud projects. You need to assign this person the minimum role for projects. What should you do? Answer is option D, add the users to roles im.service account admin role. Moving on to the next question, you are building an archival solution for your data warehouse and have selected cloud storage to archive your data. Your users need to be able to access this archive data once a quarter for same regulatory requirements. You want to select a cost efficient option. Which storage option should you use? Answer is option B, that is nearline storage. Next question is, a team of data scientists infrequently needs to use GKE cluster that you manage. They require GPUs from some long running non-restartable jobs. You want to minimize the cost. What should you do? Answer is option D, create a node pool of instances with GPUs and enable auto scaling on this node pool with a minimum size of 1. Next question is, you have an application that receives SSL encrypted TCP traffic on port 443. Clients for this application are located all over the world. You want to minimize latency for the clients. Which load balancing options should you use? The answer is option C, that is SSL proxy load balancer. With this, we have come to an end of this video and this series. I hope all these questions are helpful for you and you can prepare well for your GCP ACE certification exam. Just in case if you have any doubt related to the certification or any question, let me know in the comment section and I will clear all your doubts. Thanks for watching the video.